Thanks everyone. My name's Silas. I was saving that bit of info for the official start. And to talk about our project that we've called TOTS, or Trentham opposite the station. Firstly, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the unceded land on which we meet today, the Dja Dja Wurrung and Wurrung peoples, and also the Dja Dja Wurrung as the traditional owners of the unceded land where this project is located. So I'm from SOS Architects, or Sense of Space. We're a regional practice based in the Macedon Ranges. This project began in 2016, so even earlier than the last one, when there was just two of us in Dawkins. And it was finally completed last year. Now there are 6 of us. This project had all the challenges you can imagine over the last 7 years, with changing builders, changes of scope, planning amendments, COVID, etc., etc. Everyone loves a before and after pic in architecture, so there's what I looked like before this project. Notice the grey beard. So we were keen to celebrate the end of this project by entering the awards, which we thought would be a bit of fun. Turns out it's just quite nerve-wracking. Although I do love the chance to put together a PowerPoint presentation, and thankfully my 9-year-old daughter offered to help me out, and she's been learning. Sorry to anyone feeling dizzy after that. So for anyone who's not familiar, Trentham is located northwest of Melbourne, near Daylesford. We've got the office in Gisborne. So for a new regional practice in the area, it was important for this project to go well. It's quite a public project, and thankfully it has. The locals seem to like it. For a bit of context, our project is opposite the station, as the name suggests. Unfortunately, the train no longer runs there, the line's been discontinued, but there's regular markets held there, and it's the start of the Domino Rail Trail bike ride, so it's a bit of a tourist destination still. Across the road to the west is the town's old-style service station, general store. The High Street and main shopping precinct are located to the south, with some shops spilling around the corner onto Market Street. So our goal for the project was to sensitively link this new mixed-use development to the other commercial areas in town, whilst being respectful of the residential neighbours, and also trying to create enough of a destination for this new commercial precinct to be successful. And our client was very keen for this to be done in a way that's quite generous, by creating new public space and opportunities for public art and landscaping. And it was important for us to create a design response that was in keeping with the existing character of the town, that was also quite a contemporary language. So we picked up on some of the forms that we found around the place, such as the gabled roofs and the verandas, and including the curved steel of the bullnose veranda, and also took note of the materiality used in the area, such as brick, weatherboard and sheet metal steel. The site had been used for retail in the past, but it was cleared and vacant when we took on the project, so it was a bit of a dead corner in the town. They're garden ornaments, not gravestones, so don't worry about that. This project comprises a residence at the southern end, 5 commercial tenancies at the northern side, with an open landscaped forecourt separating the 4 Victoria Street tenancies from the 5th tenancy. All the buildings have been laid out to take advantage of passive solar design, with access to northern sun, super important in the cold Trentham climate. So the street setback of the neighbouring residences has been adopted for the house, and also the walled garden, which begins the transition into the commercial zone and opens up into the forecourt. The residence is a stripped back contemporary take on a classic double-fronted Victorian cottage, weatherboard cottage. Continuous planting and sympathetic forms help mediate between the private and public elements of the development. A scalloped recycled brick wall offers glimpses into the private garden. The fairly conservative exterior of the residence reveals an eclectic and personal interior. Not much steel here, but it's a pretty rad kitchen. Same here, but the gutter's really nice on that house, so slot that in. The on-site parking on the eastern side offers a buffer to the residences on that side, and the landscaping strategy continues down this side, and that car parking offers access to a steel frame, steel glazing, back garage for the residents, which is sort of reminiscent of an old stable. The layout of the commercial zone seeks to maximise the active frontages and to allow all tenancies to take advantage of the shared forecourt. Multiple access points were incorporated to allow flexibility in how the tenancies are divided in the future. The access from the north is via a short ramp that allows the gabled forms to wrap around and also means all entrances are fully accessible, so we deal with the slope across the site. Those little ramps. The northern elevation creates a striking silhouette. It's become a bit of a landmark. A simple, consistent approach allowed costs to be managed, but careful detailing elevates the project and allowed us to drive the builder a bit nuts. The northern tenancies are staggered to allow landscaping to soften this edge, and also reminds me a bit of trains pulling out of the station. Got to put in the train sound effect there. That was beyond my daughter's skills. The southern tenancy is currently being fitted out as a hospitality venue, which will take full advantage of the north-facing courtyard. The landscape approach from Trentham local Jim Sinatra of Sinatra Murphy was to pursue beauty and simplicity, crushed rock wherever we could as ground cover, and a continuous grid of the living pergola cut-leaf plane trees that are linked together and be printed flat to mimic the street awnings. In terms of integration of the allied disciplines, this project was our first experience of engineering being fully modelled in BIM. It's allowed excellent accuracy and coordination and made the construction of this component quick and efficient when we finally got to this stage. The forecourt features a sculpture called Flotsam and Jetsam by the late Trentham-based sculptor Matthew Harding. Matthew was a good friend of the clients, and his death in 2018 hit the community hard. So this serves as an ongoing memorial in the town. One of the unique elements of the commercial tenancies is the rolled sheet metal roof and wall cladding. This began in response to the clients being concerned about picking leaves out of gutters, but we also enjoyed the subtle reference to the ubiquitous bullnose veranda. At some point, the engineer and client started questioning whether water was just going to fly off the roof and not be captured in our carefully detailed gutters in the ground. We were pretty sure it was going to work, but we were nervous enough at that stage to order a one-to-one sample and conduct some ridiculous first principles experiments in the rain. And it wasn't raining hard enough, so we got a jug of water to further simulate it. Of course, it was going to be wet everywhere anyway, for rain. But anyway, it does catch the... So we entered this in the urban design category as well as steel and regional, because for the scale of Trentham, this is a significant urban intervention. Despite its relatively small scale, this project is made unique through its civic generosity and community mindedness. The design is responsive to its site in both form and materiality, and through careful detailing and prioritisation of softening the edges and creating new shared space, we feel it makes a positive contribution to